All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another edition of the Sofi Weekly Podcast. Someone very interesting purchased some shares of Sofi just an hour before we got on stream. And this is a person we've been waiting to purchase this company for a very long time. And it is finally done. Ladies and gentlemen, Cathie Wood has bought 284,000 shares of Sofi. All right, raw thoughts. Tannor, start with you.
It's exciting. You love whenever people buy the stock. I mean, even if Jim Cramer bought the stock, it would still be positive. I mean, if more people with more bullish thesis is an exciting sign, especially one that rarely buys banks, right? This is it's in her fintech portfolio, and there's not a lot of banks in there, So it's extremely bullish, especially whenever you compare it to. Whenever people just look at it as a slow-growing bank and they only look at it on, how good the loan portfolio is doing or what the return on equity is for our loan portfolio, obviously, Cathie Wood sees a little bit more, probably on the tech side as well. It's exciting in my view. Anyone else? Tevis?
Sorry, I was muted. I meant to say Tevis. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I think Tannor nailed it. Cathie's somewhat of a polarizing icon at this point because everything that she bought was innovation related and long dated. And when 2020 hit, she went heavy in Zoom. She went heavy in Robinhood for her fintech innovation fund. And I mean, she posted, so ARK posts their big ideas every year. And I remember very clearly, even when I was looking at IPOE, that when she had slides either in 2021, I think, or 2022, that talked about SoFi, that talked about the digital wallet takeover, that talked about the low acquisition cost of these new players. It talked about Cash App, and it had SoFi's logo in there. And at that time, I made a video, and this is like years ago, but I made a video and I said, hey, look, like, I think that Cathie, like, there's a potential for her to get into this stock because she's clearly acknowledging that it is one of the big players in this shift towards, a move away from the traditional players onto something more tech related. And I mean, it seemed as though for a long time that she put all of her chips behind Robinhood. And this is still a super, super small buy, but it's a step in the right direction, I feel, especially because of all of the catalysts that, we've been talking about for SoFi for a long time. Now, of course, it's going to be polarizing because a lot of people lost a lot of money following Cathie, and her fund got killed over the past 2 years, but her fund also did very, very well prior to that. And really, like, Cathie is investing in growth names that have a high ROI potential later on down the line. And that sort of meshes with how we see SoFi as well. There's big potential in it, high return, but it's far out. Like, it's in 5 years, maybe 10 years. It has the potential to have a complete paradigm shift in terms of the returns. So it's validating in that sense to also see. And it's something that has been on ARK Invest's radar for longer than we think. This is not an emotional decision. It's not a spur of the moment thing. They study these things well in advance. And that's why it's even more validating.
Okay. Riley, your raw thoughts?
I used to not like Cathie Wood all that much.
Riley, move the mic a little closer to you.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, you're better.
Is it bad?
No, it's not bad. It's just it's a little low.
Quiet.
It's quiet.
Quiet. Okay. Well, I'll speak up then. I used to not like Cathie Wood all that much, just because of kind of like the high valuation stock she bought in the run up. But the research I've learned from ticker symbol U is pretty damn good, and just like all the innovation that she's she's looking at. So I feel like this is kind of cool because like a lot of analysts don't really get us. We've been talking about this for years. Nobody really understands what we've been talking about. And hopefully somebody actually will validate the points that we've been talking about, the insane growth opportunities that SoFi presents in the banking world and the possible disruption. So I'm excited. I looked at her Twitter and I searched through her Twitter for any mentions of SoFi, and the only hit I got was one tweet she gave us back in 2014 where she called SoFi disruptive, which is kind of odd.
In 2014?
Yeah, because back then SoFi was making names in fintech for not having a single person that they've ever issued a loan to ever default. So that was like a big news piece that she retweeted or linked in a tweet. So she called it disruptive 9 years ago, and now she finally buys in. So
yeah.
Okay, Steve, your raw thoughts on Cathie.
So I had to pause what I was doing. I'm sorry. Does anybody watch The Compounding Friends?
Yes.
Okay. Did anybody watch the interview when they brought Cathie Wood on a couple weeks ago?
Yes.
A lot of people like to bash her and beat her up. And look, I certainly didn't agree with some of the valuations that Art came out with, and certainly didn't see the investment case on some of the stocks. But this is a very highly intelligent individual. I don't think anybody can question that. Some people like to mock her, make fun of her, but there's no question that she has a very high level of intelligence, and ARK does their due diligence, and they're looking 5-10 years down the road. Nobody can predict that, whether they're right or wrong. We'll see how that story unfolds, but it's always bullish when institutional investors, regardless of who it is, buys. More volume, more exposure, and I think it's a bullish sign. I like it. You know, you can look at ARK's ETFs and say that they're nowhere near where they were, but just because they're not where they were a year and a half ago now doesn't mean they're not going to go back to that level in 3 to 5 years. And everybody on this discussion right now is looking at SoFi from a long-term lens. Nobody's looking at flipping it. Nobody's looking at day trading it or getting in and getting out. I've always said that unless my investment thesis changes, this is something I want to hold till at least 2030 because I think that it has a very long runway of potential. And it's nice to see ARK come in and start buying shares. So I'm taking it as a good sign.
It's hard to take it as a bad sign. I mean, because even if she's wrong and the price that she got into, is not as good as some of the investors that are watching today or something like this. Maybe her timing is off. So she might even lose money on the trade if she gets out quickly, which she's been known to do. But
she did it with Palantir.
Right.
Well,
so but it does mean that something in her DD is absolutely spiking for her, that now's the time for her to buy. And that is exciting regardless of how you look at it.
Well, on that note, Tannor, I'm sure people will, there are people that will take it as a bad sign. And the reason for that is because a lot of times when Cathie has bought stocks, it marks sort of this turn in the short-term attention. With a lot of the names that she actually has bought, she has somewhat of a Jim Cramer effect in the short term, but I do think that's all, short-term psychological.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is very exciting. I agree with you, Tevis. I think they've been eyeing it for a while. It's so interesting, though, because it's like if they've been eyeing it for a while, at $4.70, $5, $6, you would think they nibble just a little bit. They have this weird trend, even with Palantir, right? I know they sold out of it, but then at 6, 7, 8 for a year, they don't touch it. Then at $10, they touch it. And it's like, if you're doing due diligence, you would nibble. You don't have to, go all in. So it's very weird that they're coming in now at $8 when it was stuck in purgatory for a long time. And that's where I always question ARK. Go ahead.
I just said they are nibbling. And Cathie Wood DCAs, right?
No, but they're nibbling after it's up 85%. That's the thing I hate about. I hate how they buy sometimes. It's insane some of the buys they make at the times they do it, where it's like if you have this phenomenal research, you should be able to know. We're not the smartest guys in the world, but at $4.70, at $5, we're like, we should buy a little bit. How does ARK not get that? But then they buy at $8. That's the part that's always shaky because then it goes on the
It's
downside.
all relative, Amit. Like it's up 85% over the past month. It's still down 70% from like the peak.
Yeah, but 70% when interest rates were zero. That's not a good argument. Like I think we should all be able to criticize Cathie Wood and say you need to buy Palantir at $6. You need to buy SoFi at $5. If you're an institutional fund manager with billions of dollars, you can't be buying it
but that's how
when it runs up
institutions buy.
85%.
But that's how institutions buy though. Like they wait for large catalysts and then they all come in at the exact same time because it like I don't know the exact screeners that they're looking for, the exact indicators, but a lot of the times it goes off all at the same time, and it's why you see these large run-ups in the stocks because some sort of catalyst, which in my opinion it's pretty obvious student loans are coming back and it seems to be very definite this time. And institutions are loving it.
No, I would agree with you if there weren't some other buys that she has, right? Like when she loads up on Zoom and Roku and Teladoc for like there's no reason, like there's no catalyst to buy Teladoc or any of those companies right now, but she's buying like that. That's why, again, I'm happy she's in it, but it is very weird that she decided to come in now. I agree, student loans is probably the catalyst they're thinking of, but this is where I doubt I seriously doubt the research. Sometimes
She's still barely in it. Like I think it's first of all, it's okay. Two things. Number one, there's very few funds that are going to take a chance on this thing when it's at $4 because they have a chance of being wrong. Groupthink goes both ways. If the stock is up 85% and everybody else is buying it, then I now have more of a push to buy it myself because if it goes wrong, everybody's wrong. It's not just me. So that's the first thing. The second thing is that it's too early to tell or to guess at her reasoning because this is not even a real buy, man. Like it's such a small nibble. It could be a hedge against some other position. It could be a million other things. Like she could sell it tomorrow and it could be completely inconsequential to the ARK FinTech fund. If she starts DCAing in, consistently and actually builds it to be, I don't know, a 0.5% or a 1% in the fund, then we can actually talk about, okay, what is their catalyst or what is their thesis for this? How long do they plan to hold? And we can start to make some assumptions there. But right now, I mean, she bought what, 200,000 shares? Like nothing at all.
Tevis, does she like buy stocks and then sell them within like a month time frame? Like, is that like something that she does often?
No,
Yeah,
not often.
she does.
She does it within a
but
year's
it's
time frame.
But it's
A year.
usually because she's
If
wrong.
that's the
Not
case, the only catalyst that I could see if she's doing that type of trade is the Supreme Court's judgment that's coming within the 8 or 9 days about Joe Biden's whether or not the loan forgiveness was illegal, because that's going to happen within the next 7 days.
Yeah, but even if they rule in favor of it, it doesn't change much for SoFi.
yeah.
The stock will probably drop on it just because people are dumb, but it's not going to change.
I think Brad Freeman expressed it pretty well on one of his tweets. He said, the student loans recovering is an 85% benefit for SoFi in terms of student loans. The forgiveness is another 15%, but the forgiveness is only like student loans. The moratorium ending is the 85% chunk. So I don't think from what I've seen from Cathie, and I'm not a big follower of her, but she doesn't seem to be doing trades where she can get in and out of a month to take a profit. The most times that I've seen her trade very quickly is actually selling at a loss. Maybe she got her research wrong and she's willing to cut her losses pretty quickly, but she doesn't actually, I find if something's running up, does she pull out very quick?
Yeah. Amit, do you mind putting up the chart I sent in the private chat? This is ARK's. This is a website called Cathie's ARK. It basically tracks all of our ARK Invest's trades every day. It hasn't been updated today with SoFi. So I just threw up Tesla here just to show that there are ulterior reasonings in her portfolio management. The blue is essentially her ownership in terms of shares in Tesla. And then the yellow is the stock price in Tesla. Can you see a correlation there? Because I really can't see any, correlation. The point is that, and then the reason I put up Tesla is because it's their biggest position. The point here is that there are a lot of trades that she will make strictly from a portfolio management perspective. Like we know that she holds mega caps during downturns because they retain their value more, and that she'll sell them during moments when she feels we're going to be on an upswing because smaller caps give higher returns. And she uses positions like Apple, Google, like all the FANG stocks, basically, including Tesla, almost as cash positions, so that they can retain their value during times
So
like
the question is, do you think she's going long, or is this some little hedge? What do you think she's doing?
That's what I'm saying. Like, we can't tell yet.
I think she's going long, bro. I think she's going
But a hedge on what?
Yeah, I don't know what she's. I mean, well, Tevis's point is it could be random, so it doesn't matter.
It could be a spread trade. I mean, she could definitely put like a spread trade on like Hood versus SoFi, or it could be a hedge against another position in her fintech portfolio that doesn't play out. You never know, right? Like, we're operating off of 1 day's worth of data.
You know,
I think she's going long, bro. I think Brett Wanton, or whatever the fuck the chief futurist's name was, finally got some sense into him and was like, bro, that guy pisses me off. He's an interesting guy. But I think he finally realized, oh shit, I sold Nvidia right before it ran up, and I bought this fucking Roku stock over Palantir. Maybe I need to get a win for the fund. And then he saw SoFi weekly. It's like, damn, these motherfuckers know what the fuck they're talking about. And then he bought some SoFi. I think that's what happened. Okay.
I was looking through. They own 2 bank stocks on their fintech portfolio. Now I'm not looking at their other funds, but I see 2 banks on here.
Look at him smiling. Just say the name. Just say it.
SoFi and Nubank.
They own Nubank? I didn't know they own Nubank.
Yep.
In the fintech fund?
Yep.
Wait, oh no, Tannor, they own a shit ton of Square too. I know it's not a bank, but
yeah, I know it's their biggest
Square.
Yep. It's their biggest holding in their fintech portfolio is Block.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Before we leave Cathie Wood and the possible catalyst what caused her to buy this stock, I do want to mention something that I think is kind of underreported, and that's FedNow is starting on July 1st, which is like the first time the federal government has actually like introduced a new like way to move money in America in like 40 years. Real-time payments have been very new to America. The first time we've had real-time payments was in 2017, but that was owned by all the big banks. It wasn't democratized for everybody to use. But now on July 1st, there's going to be this new type of way of moving money that's going to be very cheap. Like you can send $500,000 instantaneously to somebody, and it's only going to cost you 4.5 cents to send it. Which means it's going to completely change a ton of different industries. I could close on a house in seconds by sending a $450,000 payment to somebody through my phone, and instead of that lockup with that money like taking like months, days to clear, I can do it very quickly. But because of this, and because of how easy and fast it is to use, there's tons of new fraud going to be like coming up in the next month and years, and the federal government has made it very clear that they're not going to be like taking a lot of the fraud capabilities. They're going to let the actual people. God damn, I can't talk right now. So whenever anybody uses FedNow in the US, the bank is going to be liable for all the risk. So if I emit money, I can't recall that money without emit's permission. So this is completely different from like the type of transfers that we had in the past, especially like wire transfers, where it takes a long time to take that money to be delivered, and you can also recall it if there's some fraud in it. But dude, it's going to be like so much faster. Somebody can scam you, take $200,000 of your money, and then move it to an offshore account, and there's no way you're ever going to get that money back. And the federal government's not going to help you with any of this fraud. So what that means is like companies like Galileo are going to have a huge incentive and a lot of new demand for people looking for fraud prevention services, which is going to be really cool. So Marqeta and Galileo are going to have a lot of new customers pretty soon.
Base take from Riley. I love that. That's awesome, man. You got me super bullish right there. Because I mean, if that's the case, fraud prevention is going to go through the roof.
Mm-hmm. And it's scarier with AI, right? Like, I mean, like imagine the scams in the near future, and this is going to like shock the entire industry pretty soon. Because it's like everybody's going to take advantage of this because it's so cheap to move money and it's so quickly. Like just think about like Open Door. I know you guys are skeptical. But open door, that's going to be a massive value add to like their offering. Just being able to close on a house within seconds, you know, like usually that process takes longer. So it's just going to help like everybody out, financial institutions, and also banks that are trying to move monies between other banks and like really speed up the process of money moving around.
So suppose like I know from my job that like the whole idea of T+2, trade time plus 2 extra days is extremely inconvenient. Everyone hates it. It's a big problem in the industry. Okay. FedNow is going to change that, and that's very exciting. But also what's happening is that like I think the faster money moves, the faster banks will be able to make their money, right? You'll be able to have people make more transactions in the amount of time that you would be waiting for those 3 days. That's going to accelerate GDP. I'm very excited about all that. On the other hand, though, I think that bank capital requirements are going to start climbing. It's already happening here in Canada, and the Fed and the Bank of Canada seem to be pretty similar in terms of what they're doing, and I think that's going to hurt banks as well. So it's a toss-up of what you want to choose. And also, I just wanted to add that before I get some other takes here, is that FedNow does not seem to be very accessible to fintechs. Stripe and Block have been complaining about this, that it seems to be that that nationally chartered banks are getting a real privileged sort of space in entry into FedNow right now. And in that case, SoFi is getting a massive advantage versus the other competitors.
Yeah.
So it's very exciting for that position.
Yeah. There's going to be a huge wave of fraud. Like a lot of people are going to lose a lot of money fast.
I don't think so.
I mean, like here's the deal though. The way that like FedNow works is like kind of like the way that Plaid works. You go to your bank and then you send money through FedNow, and then it takes you to that little like screen that pops down and it like does like a little animation, and then your money's sent. You can't call it back. Once it's sent, it's gone. Unless
the truth is though is that these banks don't have to go with FedNow. It's optional.
Yeah.
So I think the banks that'll adopt this, if they're responsible, are only going to adopt it if they have measures in place that they think that they can detect risk in real time.
Though, like it doesn't even have to be like the fraud on the bank side. It could be fraud from somebody creating like a fake mobile app and then just animating that FedNow logo and making it seem like you're in the FedNow system and you send money to like. There's so many ways to attack fraud on this.
You could do that with PayPal or Stripe today. I mean,
yeah, exactly.
Did you see the FedNow logo is like exactly like the PayPal logo? I found that pretty funny.
Colors,
you guys see that?
I think so.
Yeah, same color.
All right, let's move on to this SoFi ad. So SoFi put up a new ad. We're going to watch it, and then we're going to give our reactions to it. So here it is.
Instantly demonetized.
Libiamo negli eti calici che la bellezza infiora e la fuggevol ora si nebria voluta.
On the top, penthouse suites, looking down on the ops. Took her for a test drive, left them on the lot. Time is money, so I spend it on a watch. Hold on, anybody, any money, no. Cause when you a boss, you could do what you want. Yeah, cause girls is players too. Yeah, cause girls is players too. Keep it playing, baby. Yeah, cause girls is players too. And it's time that we let them know that girls is players too. Keep it playing, baby.
Okay. One, look at Kelly in the comments. If you could pull up any of her posts that she just posted. This is how people are feeling whenever they're watching. I showed this to my girlfriend. She got all hyped up. Like it's, you know what? Girl power. I love it. I love the advertisement. It's super strong and it's getting a ton of views right now. Amit doesn't like that part though.
No. Hold on. Before this is a horrible take you had. It was at 400,000 views yesterday, and you were like, "Oh, it has so many views." I was like, "Guys, they paid to get the views. This ad is not going viral on its own. And Tanner's
It's not
like,
about it going viral. It's I think it's at 1.7 million now.
No, but
there's 1.7 million new people that might be interested in SoFi.
I agree, and that's a good thing. I don't disagree with that. But my point is, they paid for those 1 million views. They didn't get it organically, which is a big difference. If something goes viral by itself, that's way different than paying for it. But the point is, what were your thoughts? Let's start with you, Steve. What were your thoughts on that commercial?
I mean, it's a different way of advertising. It's not a traditional bank, and it's going to resonate most likely with the younger generation, and that's the key demographic they're going for. You know, they're not. Tevis, you're always laughing. You and Riley always laughing.
I was very eager to hear your take on this.
Look, it's something that J.P. Morgan, Bank of America, Citibank, they're not doing. Wells Fargo, they're not advertising like that. And if it brings in more of the younger demographic, I'm all for it. I mean, that they're going after a specific demographic, and I think that advertisement resonates more with that age group than what you're seeing on TV from these other banks.
Steven's already admitted that his wife is a better investor than him. So this is
100%.
perfect. Sorry, go ahead.
100% she is. She bought Facebook right after the IPO. She invested in Tesla. She's better than me. I have no problem saying that.
Okay,
Yeah.
Tevis, your thoughts? Raw thoughts?
That was actually my first time seeing that ad. I know it came out a couple of days ago. I've just been away. I just got back today. Really cool. I love. Okay, a couple of thoughts. One, it's also, first of all, SoFi's marketing department kills it all the time. I think Lauren Stafford Webb is a solid addition to the executive team. I liked how they were including stats in it as well, and it was very well done. It was also a critique on the bias inherent in AI as well.
Yeah.
Which was really interesting. And look, I mean, to Tanner's point right now, like I think I've helped multiple women in my life get started with investing, family members, partners, friends. And I actually had a partner, this is years ago, but I had a partner who started investing, and I was sort of going off of that Peter Lynch idea of just invest in what you know, just brands that you like, just products that you buy, to which she started just buying. I think her motto was, I'm going to put my money wherever white women shop. So she started buying like Aritzia. She started buying like Lululemon. She started buying like LVMH, all of these companies. And her portfolio killed it. And so I think that there is
Aritzia is an amazing stock. Everyone should go see that. But anyway,
it's such, I owned it for a while too, and it's a good company to hold. But the point is that I really, really love that take, from SoFi, because it's true. I think there's a lot fewer, I would say, emotional decisions, especially because like I feel like a lot of the fintech communities are male dominated. So for example, like on Twitter and all of the, social, like YouTube, for example, is predominantly male that watches, and those themselves evoke more FOMO for going in and out of positions as well. Whereas with, just from my own personal experiences, females in my life, they just sort of have a routine where they, put money away consistently and just DCA into positions that, companies that create products that they use. And that often works out better because there's less, in and out from those positions. So yeah, really, I don't know anything about the statistics of like how well the ad did or, what the views were like or anything like that. But I really like it. Just my first impression.
I think a lot of people sort of get the idea wrong. Like Chris is in the chat saying terrible things right now.
Some of his shit is kind of some truth.
But
to
you know
he's
what?
saying.
No, it's completely untrue. The reason why women make such good investors and have much better returns than men is not because they're amazing stock pickers. It's because they set it and forget it. They'll have good DCA plans. They'll buy into index funds, and that's enough to beat the average investor, because the average male investor makes 3% per year, right? If you were to just buy the S&P 500, you'd triple the average investor, but we just take
The
way
only
more
problem
risks.
with that statistic, look, I love the ad. The only problem with some of these statistics is that they're misleading because there's more men investing because more men are just into investing. And so as a result of that, obviously the statistics are going to be lower for, like they say men save less or whatever. It's like, yeah, because men are paying a lot of fucking bills. Of course they're saving less. So like those things, I'm just like, all right, that's like manipulating it. But however, as a shareholder, if this gets us more women, yeah, I'm all for it. I really don't give a fuck about, people are saying this ad is woke. I don't give a shit about. I care about, do we get more women users? And if we do, I'm all for it. But some of the stats themselves are, we know what they're doing, right? They're playing.
I disagree. I think the stats are 100% true. I don't think men make for good investors. A lot of people buy and sell stocks way too quickly without holding them for too long. A lot of people think they're outperforming the S&P 500, but whenever their portfolios are actually matched to them, they're drastically underperforming. And that's across the board. And the truth is women a lot, like whenever I deal with them as clients, they just set up payment plans and they leave it alone. And the retirement savings are usually way higher, not because they're extremely high earners or something like this. It's just because it's just consistency. They have the retirement funds and they set it and they leave it. And that AUM build, the assets under management that can build from that is crazy. And then if you're just investing in the S&P 500, I mean, if anyone remembers the long bet that Warren Buffett took, you can take 5 of the largest hedge funds in the world. It's very hard to beat the S&P 500.
Yeah, and I mean, look, to your point, Amit, it's a good move strategically as well. Like, how many other banks are you seeing target that demographic as explicitly as SoFi just did?
Even the song they picked was so relevant, bro. It's
Right?
a good song right now. Corey Ray.
Right. So my point is that
which you demonetized all of us for, but thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Amit.
Yes, Tannor, we don't get to make $10 on the podcast this time.
You guys are making $10? Fuck.
I'm making 5 cents. All right, someone send Tannor a super chat on Tanner's chat. So go to Tanner's stream, send him $10, and we'll cover the fucking demonetization.
I actually don't even.
Dude, Jesse has been Tanner's patron for like the last 2 weeks.
I love Jesse. Jesse treats me well. I'm his little sugar baby.
I honestly don't even like this ad too much. I agree with everything it says. Back to Warren Buffett, like one of his famous quotes was like, all the problems in the world stem from men's inability to sit in a room and do nothing. We just have to touch our stocks. We have to do stuff. But I think this ad was horrible. Like, like who reads ads? It's forgettable. Like, I don't think about it. It just goes away. I mean, sure.
Really? You think the ad was bad? You didn't think?
Yeah. I mean, okay. Like, people are gonna watch that, and how many of them are gonna remember SoFi?
No, but if a girl watches that, a girl's gonna remember the fuck out of SoFi.
A girl like Cathie Wood.
Yeah, I'm so sorry to call you out like this, but literally 30 minutes before we went live, you asked us in our private chat if Cathie Wood bought because of the ad.
Yeah, I didn't say because like it was because I was just trying to figure out why like Sofi.
Okay, Cathie Wood did not buy because of this ad. But my point is, Riley, I think, look, maybe you don't like the ad because you're a guy and like I get that. But
no,
if
that's
a girl
not true
watches that,
I think it's super true. I think it's right. I just don't think people. Okay, like there's been a lot of history of really great ads targeting women, and usually they have a huge like emotional impact. And I don't think people all care about like what AI thinks in our generation. We just like that. That's
I don't know, man. I think it's very.
Did you not see how Kelly was responding in the chat? I've never seen so many girls in our chat talking. There's people like people get excited. My girlfriend got excited. Like, yeah, like that's us. Like that is an emotional impact.
Yeah. Okay.
Show it to the girl you're talking to, Riley. Show it to the girl you're talking to right now. Text her the ad.
And she likes it. She likes it.
So there's your answer. There's your market research.
Yeah. Girl. Okay, but like she likes it because she hears me talk about SoFi.
No, that's
freaking stop. And then she sees that and says, "Oh, I like this part of SoFi that we never agree on 99% of the time." She never wants to talk about SoFi, but like whenever I show her this, she's like, "Okay, I can get it a little bit."
So you think she had no emotional reaction?
This is super anecdotal. I'm talking about like if this shows up in front of anybody out there in the ether that doesn't know anything about banking, doesn't care about the friction that moving banks.
No,
Like-
but see, here's the problem with your argument. What you're describing, like frictionless banking, all that stuff, no one will ever care about that. It's the most boring thing in the world. It's why I didn't invest in SoFi for so long. I was like, that's boring. So, like, I think they have to go, because you got to agree that's boring. I invested because of Galileo. I thought that was exciting.
Yeah.
The women part of it, or whatever angle they're taking it, AI investing, like SoFi's not even going to make a ton of money if these girls sign up and they start trading on the app, because payment for order flow is not their business. They just want those customers. So they have to pick an angle that targets them, like financial literacy, investing, AI, which I agree is not their moat, but like that's how they get them in the door.
And you got to also think of it like the average person, right? Like we analyze the shit out of this company in stock, and so we're looking at all of these different angles. But the average person, this ad, like a female, this ad pops up on their TV, they'll get a positive emotional reaction, like, oh, finally a financial institution that sort of gets me or understands, or like I feel good about that. And so
I think I agree with you guys, though. I agree with you, like the mission, the idea of like changing something that is predominantly male and that we can all agree is wrong. We all agree that women are better investors. The ad itself sucked, dude. Like I don't remember.
What did you like? The song? Like I thought the song was good.
The song, I mean, like sure, the song was fine. Some people are not going to like the song. Like
girls as players too, bro. That's the perfect lyric.
Like,
I thought that was good.
like an ad is like it needs to be an elevator pitch. You have 15 seconds to make an impact. I don't remember SoFi's name in that. Like they don't even say like they don't have.
That's fair. That's fair. I'll give you that. I'll give you.
yeah.
that.
So to Riley's point, like I said, it was a critique on AI as well, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Like why was it so AI focused with a bias on AI? Like I think that part of it was just capitalizing on the buzzwords that we have.
Yeah, nobody's going to remember SoFi as a bank. Everybody's going to remember is AI is sexist, which is sure. I agree. Like
That's a fair point. It's fair.
nobody's going to remember this. If they made this ad a little different and they came at it with a different angle, maybe with some actors, and they like join SoFi and help us take this down or something like that, that would have been a little bit better.
Yeah. Why did they pay for like a celebrity woman, like a boss ass woman or something?
Yeah, seriously, that would be so cool if like Cathie Wood came out and says, "Help us."
Cathie Wood probably would.
Yeah, dude, like Cathie Wood was in
Doesn't
a
need the money, dude.
Maybe they reached out for her, and then they saw her stock performance. They said, "Oh, it doesn't really fit the bill."
They should have paid Kelly to do it. Kelly might have gone on. Oprah.
Legit though, Riley.
Who would
Riley
be-
goes, I think it was because he didn't say it was because of the thing, and then you said, I can't understand why you're buying now. And then you said, the only thing that has changed is student loans, as if that was like something small. Like, of course it's student loans, dude. What are you talking about? The only thing was student loans.
Dude, that's just like we've been student loan agnostic for years now. And I'm just tired. I mean, like it was always going to come back sooner or later. And they're just doing it now. Like, just sounds too time the market to me.
No, I agree. I 100% agree with you. This Cathie buy is kind of stupid. They should have bought much earlier, but at least they're in. I'm happy they're in.
Yeah.
You know?
Who would be a good spokesperson, like a female spokesperson for SoFi that like they could have as a sponsor? Like who could you guys
Zendaya.
imagine?
You saw that new ad where Zendaya's
Oh,
getting gangbanged, bro? Have you seen that new ad? She's doing some movie, bro. She's getting
You started
gangbanged.
off so well. You
Bro,
started
she's
off so
like-
strong.
The trailer. Warner Brothers put it out. Like this is real. This if you watch the trailer, she's in an interesting scene. I
Yeah.
think she would be a great.
I don't know. I think
they do have some influencers and stuff there, but like that's the thing. Like a lot of girls I find don't do individual stock picks. They buy like indexes and stuff, and so there's a ton
should talk to
of
my wife.
female personal finance influencers, but you're not going to find stock traders, and that's honestly why they're better investors, is because they don't play around in the markets.
Tanner, I would
Holy
disagree
Grail
with
is
that.
Taylor Swift.
Yeah,
I mean,
Oh, they would have to pay.
Always-
Bro, Taylor Swift makes more for breathing. They would have to pay her like the whole market cap. To fucking
Yeah, our
get her.
cost of acquisition would go up.
Tanner, I think you'd be surprised how many women invest.
No, I agree with Tanner. I don't think a lot of women invest, bro. I agree with them.
Really?
Name
Yeah,
one.
you-
Name. Can we name name a famous woman investor who has like really made a name for herself in the
Cathie
market?
Cathie Wood.
No, besides Cathie Wood, and she hasn't made that many good investments outside of Tesla. Like, can you name another one besides Cathie Wood? I don't think you guys can.
Priscilla Chan.
Isn't she an actor?
Really?
No, it's Mark Zuckerberg's wife.
Oh yeah, but okay, but, yeah, she's not a stock picker. Like you got the Peter Lynches of the world, the Warren Buffetts, Bill Ackmans. Where are the women in that? And the only reason I'm saying this, I'm not saying this to say women can't invest. I'm saying this because I think this
So,
proves
Amit,
SoFi's. I think
you
this
know
proves
what
SoFi's
Pelosi
point.
said.
Nancy Pelosi. Yeah, that's a good one. I think this
That's
proves
a great
SoFi's
one.
point, which is that if women don't have this much name recognition, it's time to change that narrative, and that's why the ad makes sense.
If you're
Don't get
ready,
wrong, how many women are on CNBC? Stephanie Hightower, Karen Friedman.
No, I agree, but I'm talking about Steve. I'm talking about like Peter Lynch is an immortal name in our world. Where's the woman immortal name? Like I don't think we. Can you name it?
No,
I
you're
can't.
you're right. You're right. But so okay, there's two things, right? Like there is, if you think of like the bell curve of all women investors, there's fewer at the very extremes, but on an everyday person basis, like there are plenty of women
Yes.
that are just DCAing into positions and just having a long-term portfolio and being smart with their savings. And their savings is their investments and their retirement funds. So it is a very commonplace thing today, more so than it might have been 10 years ago. And technology has really unlocked that for both men and women. But I agree with you in terms of the actual like polar extremes. You don't have a lot of prominent female names. Like Cathie Wood, I think, was unique in that she is probably the most well-recognized female name in our day today.
Yeah, I agree, and that's why I love Cathie. I mean, regardless of if you like her or not, she's made a fucking name for herself, and she's definitely made, I think, investing a little bit more inclusive. It's just, every time she tweets or something, and I look at the replies, it's all guys. Like, I really don't see girls like tweeting against Cathie Wood, and like, I just don't see that level of women interest. And I think that's SoFi's point, is like, if that can change, there's a massive market opportunity in terms of women from the social media space to get into. And when crypto was exploding in 2021, there were some women influencers that started promoting some scams, and unfortunately that was the only time I really saw women into FinTwit. Like even Kim Kardashian supported a stupid coin.
So funny enough, since we were talking about Taylor Swift, she was one of the ones that sussed it out. And I think I have this right, Riley. Maybe you know this story better, but it was one of these crypto companies, either Crypto.com or Coinbase.
FTX.
It was FTX. It was FTX, yeah. And they offered Taylor Swift a bunch of money to promote it, and then she didn't because she felt it was shady or it was off. Yeah.
They were going to sponsor the store. Sorry, I have ice in my mouth. They were going to sponsor. They were going to sponsor the tour for $100 million. You guys are talking fund managers. Yeah, exactly. We're talking fund managers, not specifically women. There's thousands and probably millions of women investors, but we're talking about like those names that manage big funds. And I can't think of too many.
But that goes to further my point that like most of them are just passively investing, not active. Like, and that's okay too. Like the majority of money is in pension funds and mutual funds. Okay. Then add on index funds. Actual retail investors makes up a small percentage of investors in general. And then what percentage of that is female, I'm sure is small.
That's
but
fair.
That makes for really good long-term investors. And that's what they want. They like, I'm sure Robinhood doesn't care as much because they want trades. But if you just want assets under management, sticky clients, that's the client you want.
So James also in the chat just brought up a good point too. He said more women in college than men means more student loans, aka top of the funnel. Like as an awareness play as well.
Great point.
That's a good point.
There's more women in college than men.
There are way more women in university. It's like 60-40 in almost every university in terms of proportion, which is really good for me at Rutgers since I was a ladies' man. So there was, a lot of women to choose from. But the point is,
dude,
yeah, it's important. Someone said Elizabeth Holmes, bro.
What's crazy to me is like the 180 SoFi has taken in regards to like women, because like right before Noto came, there was this huge like scandal, Me Too scandal with the previous CEO, and he's like, this next video that I have up is like the worst Super Bowl like commercial ever, and it was a SoFi commercial. It made you sick.
Jim is great. Sarah is not great at all. This guy, never been great. No. Now she's great. But all these people, there's not a great one in the bunch. His mom thinks he's great. She's wrong. She's great. Wrong kind of great. And Brandon is great. So we gave him a great low rate on his $50,000 loan. Great loans for great people. Find out if you're great at SoFi.com. You're probably not.
My God.
That's interesting.
That's
Yeah, we should maybe play that.
that played during the Super Bowl in 2016. That's like the worst advertisement ever.
Let's watch the regular ad one more time because people are saying in the chat we're already demonetized, so we might as well watch it. Let's get another look.
No.
Cause girls is players too. Ladies getting money all around.
Here comes Tannor. They put Tannor in the ad. Look,
Tannor doesn't have hair like that.
he's the last guy to be shown in this ad. Watch. There he is.
You think they use Mid-Journey?
Oh, I saw. Okay, I got you.
What you know about living on the top? Penthouse suites, looking down on the ops. Took her for a test drive, left them on the lot. Time is money, so I spend it on a watch. Hold on, anybody, any money, no. Cause when you a boss, you could do what you want. Yeah, cause girls is players too. Yeah, cause girls is players too. Keep it playing, baby. Yeah, cause girls is players too. And it's time that we let them know that girls is players too. Keep it playing, baby. Cause girls is players too.
You see that link right?
Okay, can I just say before we even get started, like how much better their quality of ads have improved since 2016?
100%. I agree.
There's some pretty bad ones in the mix. But that last link, did you see what it said? It said, "Learn more at SoFi/change." Dude, that link doesn't take you to sign up for SoFi. That link takes you to like submit a photo of yourself, and then they're gonna make you an AI dollar money person. And then SoFi is saying that that's gonna help change the AI bias. When in reality, like if you know what AI is, it's trained on like large.
No, Riley's right. There should be a sign up page.
No, dude, no.
Really, you want a girl to upload a selfie? Like,
no, it's not about that. It's just about brand awareness. People sometimes need to see an ad 7 times before they sign up
for a futile cause that does nothing. Like,
it's not about the cause; it's about the brand.
Okay, it is about the brand, but to me, like the brand should have an actual.
That whole change thing gets shares on Facebook. It's not going to get shares on Facebook if people are like, "Hey, go sign up for this bank."
Tannor, I kind of get what Riley's saying though, because if you don't have a direct conversion mechanism on your site, then you're much less likely to convert those people because they have to naturally go to get started.
I'm sure it's not that far away.
But hold on, it's drastic, dude. It's absolutely drastic, and this is why if you land on a lot of major sites, their entire hero shot, like their top banner image, is a prompt to get you signed up. And the point that I was going to make was, look, next month we might look at SoFi's web traffic and we might say, oh my God, it's through the roof. And the truth of the matter is it might just be this campaign driving a lot of traffic there that just doesn't convert.
It's really not that far away. SoFi's mission is to help people get their money right. We support our members in achieving financial independence so you can realize their ambitions. QR code. Like, I don't know. It's fine. There's a banner up at the top that says products. If someone goes there, they'll be like, "What products?" Oh, wait, they're a bank.
I like I love, and there's a lot of history about like amazing, really amazing advertisement campaigns and just how it just completely changes a company and their ability to earn revenue. Like the biggest one I know is like the cigarette companies, when only half of their customers, men, were smoking cigarettes, and they decided to put like a bunch of French models up on Capitol Hill and smoke cigarettes for a magazine, and then it completely just doubled the revenue. But that was like women's liberation. This is changing AI. Nobody cares. Like this is just going to be like blown away. I would love if SoFi like took like a bigger ambition with this problem maybe, and like had something bigger. Like Mr. Beast is awesome because he like just does crazy big shit. SoFi is just making like a little animation video with text and saying like we're doing a good job. Now like we're a good brand. Like just do something.
Okay, wait. You compared it to Mr. Beast?
Well, I'm just saying like I think like advertisements could be so much cooler. This is so dumb to me. Just a text and like a mission that doesn't actually do anything or any good at all. Just makes people feel good. I get your like resharing, but I think it would be something would blow up really big if they actually like put some effort into it and try to make something big of it or actually try to solve a real problem. I don't know.
Look, on another note, earnings season's around the corner.
Sorry, what?
Coming up.
Where's your mic?
My mic's right here. Why?
Hey, you're quiet.
Is that better?
Yes.
Okay. Earnings season is around the corner. Bank earnings are starting in 3 weeks or so. SoFi is reporting on the 31st, it looks like. Riley, why are you laughing?
He's not laughing.
I'm not
Who's
laughing.
laughing?
No, I'm not laughing. I'm smiling.
Okay. Well, do we think money is leaving regionals and going into SoFi, or do we think money is starting to come off the sidelines in risk-free assets, moving to cash, and is going to get deployed in the market later? Like, where do we think SoFi's deposits are going to come in?
Well, they've already said it. They've said it on their call that it's coming from incumbent banks, and they've seen nominal changes from regional bank collapses. And so, like, it's coming from the JP Morgans, the Wells Fargos, and the Bank of Canadas and stuff like this.
I also think deposits is not the bellwether for this next upcoming earnings because we already have a pretty fair range of what we can expect the deposit growth to be at.
But more deposits means that there's a better chance that we have more direct deposits, which becomes much more stickier, which is very important. And that can lead to other products and cross-selling.
I'm curious, going back to Cathie Wood really quick, I wonder what the weight of her decision was based on the tech platform. And I wonder if that was because you hear about some investors thinking that the tech platform is the majority reason why they're investing.
I would think that it probably is. I remember, and I don't know where it was. I think it was a year and a half ago. She was asked on, I think CNBC about SoFi, and she had said she cited a reason why they weren't investing. I just don't remember what the reason was. I feel like it was something around innovation, that they just weren't innovative enough, and that's why they preferred Robinhood. I'm going to try to find it.
I think
going into earnings, I'm interested in Amit, have you looked at the July 21st option chain for puts by any chance?
The
$7
selling puts?
strike is at 15 cents. That's a 2.14% yield right now. I may buy a couple just for the hell of it.
Yeah, it's not bad. I mean, look, we fell below 8. Did we talk about the downgrades? Can we talk about those?
Who cares?
No, I mean, that's a big deal.
There were two today, right?
Good downgrade. Stock goes down, I'll buy more. Good
well, so to I think on the downgrades point, the stock showed significant strength in that bounce back. Like on a red day on the macro with 2 downgrades, and we actually were down 9%, 8%, 9% to start off the day, and we closed at negative 2%. Like that is significant strength. People were buying it up. They kept it above $8. And that's a really big thing.
Now every time that there's a purchase, people are going to be like, "Did Cathie buy more?" Because $2+ million or $238,000 of that, or 238,000 shares was Cathie today. So
Truist Securities maintained their $11 price target, and then we got 2 downgrades to like $5. I think I didn't get to read Hager's response to it, but he said it was a decently articulated bear case, even though he doesn't agree with it. But
what was the summary of the bear case?
I don't even know. I didn't even get a chance to read it.
Yeah. I was gonna read it, and then I ended up playing pool between my live and this live. So
look at Chris, who sold at the top and will double his shares at 7. This guy.
Chris earlier
Fucking
today,
Chris, bro.
Chris in the
He was
chat was
sad.
just like, Cathie bought my bags.
Chris
Dude,
just
Chris-
fucking he just
Chris
figures it
is
out.
the ultimate like buyer of SoFi. He timed it perfectly.
He
May
timed to
5th.
sell perfectly too.
Oh my god, it's amazing. This guy. Oh my lord.
He's
He
an
texted
assassin.
me the day
You
of,
want-
bro. He texted me the day of. He's like, "Yo, I'm thinking of trimming some."
106% in like 1 month, just perfectly like
Bro,
perfectly.
it was literally like it was like 9:15 a.m. 15 minutes before the market. I think it was like Wednesday, whatever day that it basically dropped, or it was at the top. He's like, "Yo, I
amazing.
think this is time to trim a little bit." I was like, I don't want to time it. I'm gonna just do my thing. And he was like, "All right,"
His
and
is
then he fucking did it perfect.
he just changed his mind about SoFi. He gave us so much shit for 6 months, and then all of a sudden, he profits off us. Oh,
I called it like 16 hours before it happened.
Look, he did
Oh,
his
you
due
did.
diligence. He
Yeah.
took what Noto and LaPointe said in those fireside chats to heart, and they did a better job of explaining what the downside risk is and how they mitigate risk like they've never done on an earnings call before.
Yeah.
And that was a big factor for a lot of people.
Yep.
Yeah, agreed.
A lot of people are even basing it off, SoFi's thresholds on what they'll take for, deposits for their personal loans, which I think is at 4.6%. And then Chris Hager was like, we're not even close. We're only at 3%. Like we're 50% below what we're saying is sustainable for us. You know what I mean? We're reporting this, but in every angle of this business, we're going to come in just a little bit more conservative than where we actually are in terms of our growth rates and the potential, downside. Everything is kept really, clean, and they're still pulling out great growth numbers. And we're not even profitable yet. Wait to see how their expansion in sales and marketing happens after we hit profitability. I mean, we won't be drastically profitable, but we'll be profitable. We'll have a PE ratio, and then the growth will happen. That's my prediction.
So, when are you guys buying some Robinhood?
Look, hold on. Before we get to that, with Chris's comment, nobody ever gets hurt taking a profit. I mean, that's a fact.
Nobody
He
ever
was
went
smart to do
broke.
so. Look, he saw an opportunity. Hats off to him. Nobody gets hurt taking a profit, and a lot of people don't know when to take a profit.
Yeah, no, I mean, Chris has definitely got a skill at it, and no harm to him. But I also can't act like I can play in that game and do what he does, because I'm
have
sure I
no
would mess
interest
it up.
in him, yeah.
So I'll let him have his fun, and
So
we're
you
playing
wanna
different
talk
games,
about
me and him.
Robinhood?
Sorry?
I'm just,
You wanna talk-
I have
talk about
Robinhood.
Robinhood
I'm
and-
wondering when you four are going to join me. I think you guys saw my tweet. You guys saw a lot of other people on Twitter talking about Robinhood. When are you guys buying a little bit of the hood?
I think if you're buying something that's undervalued, your money is better placed in PayPal.
so fun.
PayPal.
You had to say
I actually
PayPal.
looked at PayPal, Tanner, because I had some money I wanted to deploy, and it was at $68.
Pull back a little.
Yeah, I just put in SoFi instead earlier today at 780.
Look,
something like that.
Robinhood is very interesting.
It's a buy. Robinhood's a
And I know
fucking buy.
Tanner doesn't like it. I watched you on Finance Junkies talking about it, but put the whole crypto thing aside and the users aside. The balance sheet for Hood is very interesting.
Tell me more. Tell me more, Steven.
Well, look, they got 5.5 billion in cash. They got 4.2 billion in cash and securities segregated. So
What
you
does that
got-
mean? Cash and security. What does that mean? Cash and security segregated.
I'd have to look at a 10Q and see what the security segregated is.
Okay.
I don't want to say anything that's incorrect, but they have not effectively 9.6 billion in cash right now. Their total debt is 2.75 billion.
Yep.
So that's great. They're not leveraged. You got 7 billion in total equity with a market cap that's
8.6.
8.8 billion. I mean, that is very, very interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I
You buying,
don't think
Tanner?
any
Are you
company can
buying
put aside.
some Hood?
I don't think it's ever fair to say put their users aside. Let's see what's remaining on the balance sheet.
No, but-
Users are the lifeblood of every business. You don't have them, you don't have a business.
Okay, I get that, but it looks like we saw a bottom on users. Obviously, we're going to need a couple more quarters to see if there's one little tick up
We saw the last reported numbers was their bottom. How is that a bottom?
1 quarter ago could have been the bottom for user growth.
No.
Going
So Robinhood, if
Tannor,
you're on their investor,
the monthly numbers is you can't use the monthly numbers to sum
of
up
course
the
I
whole
can.
quarter.
Of course I
No,
can.
you can't.
It's an aggregate number.
It's data. We need to see what Q2 comes in at. You can't. Just
you don't have to. You don't have to wait for Robinhood. They report monthly.
What's Robinhood?
You don't have the June numbers, so you can't make a statement on Q2.
No. Well, dude, they report monthly numbers. Monthly active users month to month is.
I understand that, and you have April and May. You don't have June, so you can't make a statement on what their Q2 is going to be. We don't have that information.
Even it doesn't matter because monthly active users are monthly active users, not quarterly active users.
Yeah, but they report
it will
for the
be
quarter.
Whatever it is.
They report for the quarter.
So they take
but
an
it does- but
average
it
of all
doesn't-
3 of those months for the quarter. That's why I'm saying you don't know June.
If you can make an assumption on a stock based on their last quarter, why can't you make it based on their last month? You're going to go back to their last
Because
quarter,
there's
even though we
2
have
other
updated
months you're
information.
missing.
Sorry.
So a quarter, last time I checked, has 3 months, not 1. So
Yeah,
if
but
you
it's
use
not
1 month
additive.
versus 3. There's a discrepancy there.
Yeah, but
Why are you laughing?
It's doing this. It's going down, 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 down. Oh, but last quarter was up. Okay,
Okay,
but
so let's wait till
that's
next
not
quarter
the bottom
to
over
see
there.
the-
This is now the bottom.
Look, the point is, we're entering into a bull market. If we're entering
so
into a
hold
bull
on.
market, people are going to use Robinhood. It's just
What did Morgan Stanley buy?
Seeing a whole lot of I agree with Tanner's in
Okay.
the chat.
that's because they're
Morgan
SoFi
Stanley
bulls.
bought
And
E-Trade.
sometimes SoFi
Who
bulls
did
are too ideological about SoFi.
Who did Schwab buy?
Fidelity? Schwab by Fidelity?
Ameritrade.
Oh, Ameritrade. Yeah. TD Ameritrade. Yeah, TD Ameritrade.
You could see more consolidation. And look, Robinhood could be a takeover target for their users and everything that they have
From who?
on the front end.
From who?
From SoFi.
No, I mean realistically though.
Realistically,
Not from SoFi, from incumbent players.
Yeah, no, who?
Fidelity or
You know what's
Goldman.
crazy?
I mean,
I
look,
found out that-
if Morgan's going to buy E-Trade,
FINRA put out a report that Robinhood had 40x the number of trades per active account versus Charles Schwab and Fidelity, which was nuts. 40x per account.
Okay, why is that bad?
It's not bad if you're Robinhood, but that it shows you the type of customer. They have very, very low AUM and they're day trading. It's actually not bad for
I
their
don't
business.
care about
but
that. The point is I need payment for order flow. I don't care what the customers are doing. I just care that they're buying and selling stocks. And if that's the case, we're making money as a company. That's all I care about.
Yeah.
Right?
No, and it's actually not bad for their business, but it's definitely not a healthy business to create. And I don't think that.
Wait, why isn't it healthy? Why is it not healthy?
Well, because day traders don't win. They lose 97% of the time.
Yeah, but there's always, like, my point is if people are constantly using the product to trade and there's a lot of people trading.
We're constantly
No, but that's my
using.
point. That's why I didn't buy it when it was going into a bear market. But if we're getting into a run as a 2-year play, I think Robinhood can do well. Like,
So
I
the
don't see the bear case
question
for why they
becomes,
can't
can
do well if
become
people are using it.
profitable? Are they going to become profitable? And in 2024, if the Fed does start cutting rates and risk-free assets yield less, they could be taken out by a private company too. But think about it. If risk-free assets have yields drop from 4.5% to 5%, they go down to 3% sometime in 2024 or early 2025, risk-free assets such as T-bills and CDs do not look nearly as attractive anymore. Money's probably going to come off the sidelines and into the market, and you could see the market go up from that, more activity, more people get interested in investing. Robinhood's starting with the IRAs. Some people think it's big, some people don't. It's very interesting.
But that point
You're
is
showing
true.
net interest revenue. What are you doing, Amit?
So here's my point. If rates stay the way they are, net interest revenues are exploding, which is good. If it's at 5.25, 5.5. If rates go down, and to Steven's point, stocks go up and stocks are more attractive than T-bills, everyone's going to download fucking Robinhood and start buying stocks, which means they make money on payment for order flow. So either way, they win no matter what happens because their net interest is either exploding or stocks will go up and then people will trade.
Yeah, but that's every single fintech. So
Right.
Coinbase is absolutely exploding in their net interest income. Is that?
So that's
is that-
fine. Then buy Coinbase. The point is you haven't given a bear case for Robinhood.
Well, what I'm
if
saying
it's
is
every single
is,
fintech, I don't know what's the difference.
But it's not about if Robinhood's going to do well or not. It's if Robinhood's going to outperform or not.
Yes. What other brokerage for Gen Z or millennials is going to outperform outside of the Schwabs and all the outside of those guys? Because that's not.
No, it's not what brokerage. It's what stock outperforms. And I think,
No. I'm talking about, you're saying if every fintech is affected by this, your argument is, well, when interest rates go down and stocks go up, everyone starts trading on stocks like Coinbase and crypto. Then that means Robinhood's not going to get that transaction revenue. My question.
No. You didn't hear me. You didn't hear me.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm talking about the interest income is high for every single institution because the macro's high.
Why is that
so
bad for Robinhood?
It's not bad for Robinhood, but it's not a
that's
standout point that's saying they're going to win versus the competitors.
He's saying you're making
need
a
to win
bull
that.
case for the whole market, not a bull case for Robinhood.
Yeah, it's not a Robinhood.
That's what I need to. I need to win a bull case for the market and because the Robinhood wins if the market wins.
But that doesn't make Robinhood special, is what he's
Yes,
saying.
it does,
Yeah.
because people trade in a bull market. That's the point.
But the bull market happened in May and Robinhood didn't.
No, it didn't. There was not a bull market in May. There was not.
Okay,
Oh,
so
there was
then you
7
compare
stocks
then
in
you
the bull
compare the
market.
S&P 500 numbers to April to May, and you don't even have to watch my live.
Technically, we were in a bull market.
Yeah, bring up the
Bull
one guy
market
that sold you on
technically-
this stock because just so
20%.
everyone's aware, this is not even a MIT stock. It's
No, this
Chris
is no.
as a
That's incorrect.
proxy
Chris doesn't have the stock.
to
Chris doesn't
feed
have the
him
stock.
this position, and then Amit spells it out and goes,
Well,
"Guys, I got
that's
the
actually
next big
incorrect.
thing."
Chris does not.
That's
own
an
the stock.
unfair statement.
Yeah, that's actually talk to.
That-
I was called up Steve
Ro-
2 weeks ago talking about Robinhood. First of all,
That's an unfair
Chris
statement.
doesn't own Robinhood right now.
no, he doesn't own. Do you want? Chris does not own Robinhood. What do you
I
want?
Chris,
don't
will
know.
tell us the truth, the absolute truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me
Oh
God.
my God.
Chris doesn't own. Me and Chris were talking about it a couple of days ago, and he's like, "Look, it looks nice, but I'm not pulling the trigger yet." And then I bought
Tanner,
So
look
why
at it
why
like-
couldn't you convince Chris to buy
Look at
it?
it like this.
because Chris is hoarding up cash right now. Chris is not buying anything. That's why he's
All
so
right,
fucking so.
so
I think the
don't talk
biggest
about what
problem-
anybody else is doing.
I
But
think the biggest problem you're going to have convincing these two Canadians is that they never use Robinhood.
That's a good point.
Admit, like,
It's
No,
not.
if you
no,
use
Riley,
Robinhood,
hold on.
I've never used SoFi
I
either.
don't use Robinhood.
Robin,
But-
you're
Look at it this
literally
way.
like the minority here, though. Like everybody my age uses Robinhood. I use Robinhood more than I use SoFi to just check stocks because it's so much better of an
Right,
experience.
but Riley, if you
Don't make
use
me
it-
load up the SoFi app and do what I
Riley,
did on
if you
finance.
use it more, why is
Yeah,
your Robinhood position not bigger than SoFi position? Like it's not.
I don't have
accurate.
a Robinhood position. I'm
But
sorry.
that's the point.
A great company does
Whenever I
not make a
wanna
great
look up a
stock.
stock, I do not use SoFi. I use Robinhood because the UI is
Yeah, see the problem, Tevis. The problem with your and Tanner's arguments is, I'm not bullish on Hood over SoFi. Obviously, me and Riley are like SoFi to the moon. We get it. But Robinhood at this valuation, you guys are not understanding the moat. The moat is people love this product, and you guys have never used it, so you don't understand it.
anything else.
Even TJ, the wheel deal, he trades with a couple millions of dollars on Robinhood, and this guy's like a professional trading puts. He's doing it on Robinhood. So if that's the case, and I don't think you remember 2021 when stocks were going crazy, which I don't think we're going to get that again, but we're going to get something kind of like that, even if it's not to the same extent. What do you think people are going to download?
Okay,
They're not going to download SoFi and
I
use
think
SoFi.
That's the wider
Right, but
point.
that's
to-
the wrong argument. The argument is, does Robinhood get profitable in the next couple of quarters?
I love how the guy with only the controls is bringing up things to confirm his bias.
What comment you? Give me a comment you want me to hear. Here's a bad comment. I hate Robinhood, but their UI. Like, even if you hate the company, you have to believe that they have such a big moat in terms of product. And here's my simple question: what other? This is the one thing I want people to answer. In 2024, S&P's at 470. Everyone's like, man, I wish I got some Tesla, some Palantir, blah 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 blah. What are they going to download? What is our demographic?
Okay, wait.
25-year-olds going to download to start trading?
So
it's not going to be SoFi.
Amit,
It's not going to be Webull.
Let's talk about what you said, because you said moat. So let's understand what a moat is. What do you define as a moat? Because to me, that's something that's defensible. And how does Robinhood defend anything that every single brokerage has copied since the day they even launched?
Because those brokerages are old, boring, and for my generation,
Webull, M1 Finance,
they're
SoFi,
not- I
all
don't-
old.
M1
Public.com
Finance-
old.
How do you not get this, bro? You're young. How do you not get this? Like, no one uses that shit in our generation. They just don't use it.
If you use Robinhood for a month and you actually like A/B tested it among every other like app out there, you would choose Robinhood hands down.
Ahad is one of the biggest SoFi
Yeah, but-
bulls that
but
I
dude,
know.
It
And he's
Okay, but
doesn't
hold on.
matter if I
Everything
would
that's
use
being
Robinhood
said
or
right
not.
now
Out of
is
the
opinion.
23 million people that they did have, they only have 10 million now. Like people
No,
are
but this
leaving.
argument, you
People,
keep saying this, and I'm saying it's going to grow. Like I'm telling you, it's going to grow if we get.
I know,
into a
but if it's only going to grow whenever people actually start rushing back into the market, then other stocks are also going to grow. So then you have to look at Robinhood as a proxy that it's going to outperform the other positions that you could actually just buy into that those investors are pouring money into.
Right.
No, but at this valuation, that's the differentiator in this conversation. At an $8 billion valuation, could you imagine it going to 16? Yeah.
And I know, but I think that PayPal's a better offer. I think that Cash App's a better offer. I do
That's
think
fine,
that there
but
are
that's
other
not-
undervalued positions.
That's not an argument against my point. I'll agree with you. You have to prove a bear case for Robinhood because you're so aggressive against Robinhood, and you have.
I'm not
I don't
shorting the
think he's
stock. I'm just
bearish
saying
on
it's
Robinhood.
not worth the
Well,
risk.
the question is, can you make money buying shares? Not is there a better investment to put your money in? Can you make money buying shares in Robinhood at these levels? The answer is probably yes at this point. Obviously,
That sounds
we
like
don't
someone
have
that buys
crystal
gold.
balls.
Don't listen to that. Don't listen to that.
Why
Come on.
wouldn't you have hard
I mean, he
physical
has a
metal?
point, right? They're going to
No,
have
but
macro
seriously,
tailwinds,
you
so it's going
attack
to
me
be bullish.
because I buy precious metals. What happens if shit hits the fan? I got
No,
gold
I'm not
silver.
attacking the idea that you buy precious metals. I'm attacking the idea that if you actually zoom out and look at the return of precious metals, it's terrible.
But I'm not
and the
buying
idea
it for
that
the
just
investment on that side. I
just
compare
something that
investment
makes money
prices.
is worth an
I
investment
am
is not
buying
true.
precious metals in case I needed to barter with down the road.
Did you
I'm
say
not
just
buying
buying
precious metals
something
to
that makes
to
money
make
is not a
on
good?
it.
Like, what are you
Yeah,
talking
it's
about?
not
The whole
true
point is to buy
because
stuff that makes
there's
money.
an opportunity that's free to purchase. It's called the S&P 500, and it's clearly the better offer. If you have a long-term investment thesis, you have to pick things that will beat the S&P 500, or you buy the S&P 500. That should be the thesis.
Look, that's fine.
Well,
but if you also
okay.
do
No,
some
no,
options
hold
on
on,
Robinhood, you
hold
can
on.
vastly outperform the S&P
Hold on.
500.
So
Hold on,
the
let me make
average
this point,
return
Steve. Let me
of
make the
S&P
point.
is what,
If it works.
8.6%. Let's say we go into a bull market and the market goes up another 20% from here. S&P's up 20%. Robinhood could beat that in a year. Now, I'm not saying
Yeah.
Robinhood is a great long-term investment, but to think that Robinhood couldn't go up by 20% on getting profitable, they just had their best quarter from generating cash from operations, $828 million.
They have to beat
last quarter.
$13 to beat the S&P. You're saying they can't beat $13 in the next 2 years. That's what you're saying.
No. I'm not.
Assuming
Like I
S&P
said,
is
I
flat.
am not. Sorry.
No,
go
no,
ahead,
that's
Tevis.
assuming that's a 20%. That's assuming the S&P goes up 20%.
Yeah, but so as a short-term trade, I'm not a trader, okay? But if you're saying that they have a moat and that this is a great company and that the millennials will choose this over other positions, I mean, I have to defend the idea that this is not a great long-term position,
But I'm not
and they have
saying
no
any of
defensible
that. I'm
moats.
saying, looking at the numbers, it's very interesting with the amount of cash on hand
Yeah.
and the trend into profitability and the amount of cash they're generating from operations. It doesn't seem like a bad play to make a couple of bucks.
I'm seeing the same
I'm
as
not
Steve.
saying
I'm not
PayPal
saying
isn't a good
I'm not
play
saying
because I think PayPal's massively undervalued, and you saw my analysis on that. I mean,
yeah, I'm not saying hold Robinhood
until.
until 2030. I'm not saying that. I'm saying over till 2025, it's not a bad play.
But also, when you look at the valuation, Robinhood could get taken out by private equity, could get taken out by another player to gain the users and gain everything else with their UI, and they would pay a multiple on it.
Yeah,
I mean, E-Trade was bought for a reason. E-Trade wasn't bought because it's the best brokerage. It was bought for the front end. It was bought for the users. It was bought for the hidden assets.
and I think that's the best exit for Robinhood investors is
It could be.
a buyout, and that's honestly more likely than ever, because like you said, they have the best UI. I'm not arguing that, you know.
Well, also, if you do options on Robinhood, you can also accelerate the gains, even if it goes up 20-30% over the next year. If
You
get
can do
into
that
the
with
right
any
prices.
stock, Amit.
No, but
You
it
can-
has options
hold
work
on,
when the stock is
hold on.
actually undervalued. And our point is the shit is fucking undervalued at $8
Can
billion.
somebody bring up their balance sheet? I mean, look at their not book value, their tangible book value. When you strip away goodwill and everything else, their tangible book value is $769.
I know, and that's why I
pretty
think it's
high
a great.
compared to
That's
the
why I think it's a
share
great acquisition. But
Well, exactly, a great acquisition, but there's not. I mean, I shouldn't say there isn't much downside, but it doesn't seem like it's that bad of an idea when you have a tangible book value of 769 right now, and that amount of cash on the balance sheet. It makes it very interesting. And if they get GAAP profitable, have they said when they're projecting GAAP profitability?
They didn't say when, but it's 3 cents away. So I would imagine next quarter or the quarter after. They might get gap profitable before SoFi, to be honest.
Yeah,
SoFi
so-
5 cents away.
And what happens if they get GAAP profitable and people start piling in? That's the other question.
Yeah.
So the thing with tangible book value I also want to bring up is that that's not the bottom of the stock. Stocks can fall below tangible book value if people believe that the investment team will not be able to actually manage that money better than someone else would.
But,
So
okay,
that's
Tanner,
why I would honestly want them to get acquired.
this.
So a smart manager, not Vlad, actually ends up using that cash for something useful instead of buying a bunch of tiny companies. Like I don't think their acquisition strategy is good. I'm not a fan.
Why?
I'm not a fan of management.
Like, this is just an assertion. Why is it not good?
Hold on, Tanner. Look at it this way:
because they've spent money on a bunch of stupid things. Like they bought a company called Say. I forget what they bought. It was like
that was a great innovative acquisition because Say Technologies integrated so that shareholders, like retail investors, can ask companies questions through Robinhood. That was a great acquisition.
How is that a great acquisition?
Because that's Robinhood's moat is like the coolest app.
It's cool, bro. You got to be with the cool kids. That shit is so cool to see the top shareholder questions from retail.
It's cool.
And it was probably a couple million at best.
There is a moat like not wanting to use anything else because it's trash compared to Robinhood. Like that's how they like hook everybody in. It's not with like better numbers. It's literally just a better user experience.
Not any better. Square has terrible acquisitions.
So why is that one of your biggest positions, but you're crapping on Robinhood?
It's not one of my biggest positions. I just think that they're undervalued and Cash App's a much stronger moat.
You think Square is more undervalued than Robinhood?
No, I'm not saying in terms of real dollars, but I'm saying in terms of capital appreciation.
Undervalued more than Robinhood.
But here's the thing: there's a difference between valuation like if their valuation versus their tangible book value is undervalued. Yes, okay. Robinhood beats them, but that's assuming. But that's assuming their monthly active users are going to come back. That's not a guarantee. For Cash App,
I asked you
it's
a very simple question
for
5
me.
times. I will ask it again. Is Square undervalued compared to Robinhood?
I'm not doing your little stupid debating games, okay? You heard what the fuck I said. I said what I said. You know what I said. I said Robinhood is undervalued in a valuation perspective more than Cash App, but it's not necessarily based on growth rates because they have none.
I think that's the first time I heard of Tanner swear.
It's got 8.8 billion market cap. Let's say hypothetically, I'm not saying this is going to happen. Let's say hypothetically they go out of business tomorrow. There's 7 billion on the balance sheet in total equity. Let's say they get 70 cents on the dollar. Some of it's inflated, whatever. It's still 5 billion in total equity shareholders are getting back. Like it's interesting. I'm not a shareholder. I'm not buying shares, but it's interesting when you just look at the financials.
No, I'm not saying it's not a short-term play. I just like that could be perfectly fine. Amit can have his fun on the options. But like what I get mad at is like, okay, SoFi rolls out level 1 options, and then a whole bunch of these people that have both the UIs on, like Chris Hager, for example, talking about how he has a large position in Robinhood as well for his level 1 options. Okay, well, why would he stay there if he has a stock to go to in SoFi and consolidate all of his different things? So what can Robinhood do to keep Chris Hager on the platform? Well, they can come out with 24-hour markets. Okay, then SoFi adapts 24-hour markets. Okay, then what does Robinhood have to do?
Multiple platforms.
Sorry?
A lot of people use multiple platforms. I
know, but there's the UI has to continuously get better and better, and that's extremely expensive. And the person behind them copying everything that they're doing does actually have a way to catch up faster.
Copying Robinhood? What are you talking
Nobody's copying Robinhood.
What are you talking about?
What are you guys talking about?
Who's copying Robinhood?
There's going to be a part of you that will never be able to understand Robinhood because you haven't used it.
Oh my God, guys!
Your Canadianness is showing too.
They created
did you drink like maple syrup before this fucking podcast?
Dude, they created commission-free trading via payment for order flow. So smart. And then you're saying who's copying Robinhood?
No, that's not my question.
Every single brokerage
copying
copied
the UI. That was your claim.
Why are you
so my question is, who's copying the UI?
Sorry?
Your claim was people will copy the UI. My question is, who's copying the UI?
Didn't Fidelity just put out a new app that looks almost identical to Robinhood's and everyone's complaining online?
Bro,
who's using that?
Amit, if your strongest argument is that the UI is Robinhood's biggest moat, then I think that's pretty flaky.
Dude,
that is my argument, and that is the strongest argument of the night. The UI is absolutely the most.
Robinhood's been doing this since 2010, and nobody has even gotten close to anything like close to Robinhood. Robinhood's like 10x better than the next competitor.
You guys can feel that way, but the numbers say a different story. Like people are leaving the platform like crazy. They're going other places. They don't care about Robinhood.
No, Tanner. People are not leaving the platform to go to other places. There was a bear market and people are not trading because they're inexperienced investors. When the bull market comes, they will be back. It is very simple. Like it's not complicated at all.
Dude, they offer a higher cash incentive than SoFi at 4.65%. They gained like 2 quarters ago, it was like 60,000 new members, and then the quarter after that was 180,000.
Well, your argument with Cash App, and they have no incentives. They don't even offer any APY, but they're still the best because they're at the very top of the App Store. Same with Robinhood. Like people,
thank you for proving my point. So tell me about the brand.
No.
He actually where they offer 0 APY and they have fucking
because here's
million users to your non-growing shitty app with a feather as a logo. You suck. Like
that's actually cute. No, but this is the point. The Tanner's Riley's point link turns your argument. This is in debate we call it a link turn. If Cash App can be number 1 on the App Store, which it is for the past couple months, with 0 incentive, why are people downloading Cash App? Because it's a great product. The UI is amazing. It's better than Venmo.
And to buy shares on Cash App is cheaper than Robinhood. So if you guys actually want to save yourself some money, buy it on Cash App.
No, but you're not answering the point. Why are people downloading Cash App if there's no incentive? Because the app is amazing. It's a good app. It's way better than Venmo for sending money. That's our point. UI matters. That's our argument.
Okay, and I'll believe you whenever the users come back, but they ain't.
No, but the point of investing is to get there when you know something the world doesn't know yet. And what we know as investors is that the bull market's coming, the users will be back, and the UI is great. That's the moat. And that's why
you really think you're unique in that?
What other company? No, I'm not saying we're unique. I'm not saying as an investor. I'm just saying what other companies doing what Robinhood's doing in regards to
he did figure it out before Cathie Wood. So
Kathy's been
she likes to wait for the 85% gain. Then you'll watch her buy more Robinhood.
She's been buying Robinhood left and right.
Good. She's been buying Coinbase like left and right too. I'm not means nothing to me. I mean, we'll see what happens, but and in the short term, that's it. Like I said, who knows? June was an amazing month. There could be a lot of monthly active users, but we also didn't even include the fact that they're dropping a lot of their altcoins on their crypto, which does make up a lot of their transactions.
Every fintech, so if you're going to use the same argument, every company has to drop those Solanas and Cardanos. So.
I know, but you don't have to buy a brokerage.
But the point
but
is,
if your main argument is that Robinhood has way more trading volume and that's one of the pros, for them to be dropping their altcoins will hurt them disproportionately to everybody else.
No, it won't, because these other companies also are not going to have those.
I understand, but
That's
disproportionate.
my point. Like if you're comparing them to other brokerages, they're not going to have them either.
15% of their transactional based revenue, whereas SoFi it makes up for like 0.1.
SoFi doesn't make money off payment for order flow. You can't compare them.
Well, they do. They do, but
it's very little. That's the point.
know, but you don't have to buy an exclusive brokerage.
Well, you don't have to buy anything in this world, especially in America. I know you don't get in Canada, but in America, where it's a free country, you can do whatever the hell you want. So you can stay your maple syrup eating ass over there while I stay with my guns and my patriotism. But my point is,
that's what I miss losing an argument.
Yeah,
my point is,
I was like, this is the
in America.
Out. Like,
in America, we look at undervalued companies.
Let's get Tannor fired up. Google or Apple?
Google or Apple in terms of stock? I wouldn't choose either.
Start this.
Yeah, I don't want to start it. I don't want to start it. Steven and I, let's do our own podcast.
Amit, check the private chat. This is a really good segue to SoFi's UI because.
Oh yeah, didn't he reply to you this week, bro?
Yeah, Noto commented on one of. So actually, Tannor, this is all because of you, because in a previous pod. You kept on saying that like Cash App has that cool factor, and I it's been irritating me because SoFi has not updated their UI in literally half a decade, more like 4.5 years. But it's been a long time, and we've never gotten any answers. So I made a few posts, and a lot of people disagreed with me, saying that the UI is fine. And if you scroll up a little bit above, there was this person that made a really good point on Reddit on my post up there.
Why don't you read your post first?
Sure. So like just in the middle right there, imagine a hypothetical competitor offering everything SoFi does, but with a superior app experience, smoother, faster, more intuitive, and enjoyable to use. If we conducted an A/B test comparing this competitor with SoFi's current version, using a group Gen Z or millennial users, I'm certain the competitor's app would be preferred. And like that competitor, that hypothetical competitor could even offer like less than SoFi and still just wipe SoFi to the SoFi like off the board, because SoFi's UI sucks so freaking bad. And I know a lot of people watching this are a lot older than me and they think the user interface is just fine. It is not. It's like unacceptable, especially in this day and age. And it's just so outdated. It's over 4.5 years of talking.
Riley.
Hold on. To get my thought out, Anthony Noto finally responded to us investors for the first time in a long time about this. And he said that like on the roadmap for SoFi right now, it's going to be the invest side, and then an overall app design is also being worked on for the entire UI of the app, which is really, really good news, because like we've been all dying for this, or I guess for the past 6 months I've only been talking about this single issue. But it's just really exciting because it's the first time like in a long time we've ever had any news about a possible UX upgrade, which is desperate.
So Riley, two things. One, it's fantastic that Noto responds and definitely takes what shareholders and individual people who use the product seriously. And you don't see a lot of CEOs doing that. And the fact that he would say that publicly is amazing. And I think that's one of the reasons why so many people respect the guy. Two, question for you, and I don't want you to say any names.
Okay.
So it's a simple yes/no question. Do you use any other banking apps besides SoFi?
So SoFi.
Yes or no?
Yes
I don't
or no?
want to know which bank. Let's not give any information. Yes or no?
Yeah, I'm giving you the reason. Yes, and the reason is because SoFi does not take cash deposits. So I have Capital One for their like.
Don't say which one. Jesus Christ.
Riley sells marijuana, and he needs to deposit
Yeah,
his
don't
cash.
say that either.
Okay,
So,
what? I don't understand your reasoning for that though. Why?
because of fraud, because of identity theft, like let's be somewhat smart about this.
Okay.
That shit's real. And trust me, you don't want it happening to you. So anyway, I have money at several banks, and I will tell you that
Which banks?
Yeah.
Yeah, which bank, Steven?
So the app experience, and I have the SoFi app. I'm a SoFi member. I will tell you that I think
Hackers.
SoFi's app is vastly superior than the banking apps that I have used.
Yep, that's everybody's common. Yeah, everybody agrees it's above normal, above average for sure.
And look, I get it if people don't like it, and obviously every app you can make improvements. But coming from someone who is a bit older and has used several different banking apps, SoFi feels very frictionless, and just the amount of engagement and just things on there compared to other banks. I mean, there's one that I'm thinking of that is really good, and it gets me A to B, and I can do everything I need to do quick. But when I go on the SoFi app and play around with it, it feels much more intuitive. So I'm actually very excited for whatever upgrades they're coming out with, because if I think it's really good compared to the old banks and you think it's bad, I can't wait to see.
Okay, maybe this is my fault.
If you're disappointed in it, I can't wait to see what improvements they're going to make that's going to get you excited about it.
The reason why I'm disappointed is because the reason why you think it's so good is because all of the banking apps that you've used have not upgraded or had any improvements in the past 10 years. All of the new technology that they if you go to any of the apps like Bank of America, Wells Fargo, and you look at the very like features list under their app, when you download it, it will say like you can scan your check and deposit it into your bank, which has been a technology that's been around for 30 years. Every piece of technology has like literally not been
I don't think that's been around for 30 years.
It has. It's not okay. So like,
Dude,
what is it?
These
USA,
banks didn't have apps 30 years ago.
Yeah, because USA was the first one that put it into an app in 2011. But like this is sending checks through pictures through the internet has been back all the way into the early 90s, because they used to sell big machines where you could put like a bunch of checks in and then it would go through the internet. So that like the checking, like that technology has been around for like 30 years, but it's been in an app since 2011. So when I say the past 10 years, that's what I mean. Like
Okay.
the past 10 years, there has been no advancements in banking technology or banking apps at all. And SoFi is just like a very, very like nice UI over like a thin layer. But like my idea, the whole reason that I'm really into this, because once ever they figure out the back end technology and they make it really easy to build amazing stuff on top of that back end tech that other companies just will not be able to do, that's the time when like the UI is just going to we're going to finally have something in banking in America that actually rivals other countries. US is like super far behind.
So once we actually get the UI like up and running, like what kind of investors do you think pour in, you know?
I don't know. Like, but that's the thing though. Like
We
the
get like
ones that are-
Warren
the-
Buffett and
The ones that are coming from Robinhood that are in Robinhood because of the UI.
no, I meant institutionals.
Yeah. And honestly, it does a tremendous value to our brand, SoFi, because like if anybody could just download the app and just see SoFi's like amazing UI, they're gonna have like a respect for the brand that's way better than what it is now. And I can imagine like that's just gonna help them with like deals on their technology stack in the back end. Like if it becomes more known as like a front leading fintech company, it's just there's so much synergy. So like the UI is very important to me. I think it's gonna make a big.
You know what though? You're right though, because I was talking with Amit on the Finance Junkies, and he pulled up the app and was just sitting there like
I'll
this,
do it
like
right
some
now.
sales
We'll
call.
do it right now. Here
And
we
dude,
go.
it was
Start to
like
finish.
a minute. It was so long.
Mine opens pretty fast, but like there's
Here we go.
there's
You guys ready?
something about this app that really
Yeah, get it. All right. Let's see who wins the race of the SoFis. Oh, okay. Well, maybe it's just your bad phone because that wasn't that bad.
Look at this.
Yeah, yours was already up.
Wait, what
So-
level of phone do you have, Riley?
Jeez, that's horrible.
I just bought an iPhone 14.
Oh, that maybe iPhone 12. Maybe that's why. That's the
That's
reason.
probably why.
I still didn't
But,
even
like,
get
that
it.
shouldn't happen, bro. An iPhone 12 is still pretty recent. Like,
Could be your internet speed.
no, it's not. But I have good internet. I have Verizon Fios. It's good. It's not the internet.
It's
Might be the fact that you have like 7 fucking pages on your iPhone.
But
That's
all
how
those
you're
aren't
scrolling
downloaded.
through.
They're like they're just random apps from like the past, but they're not actually on the phone.
You should run a speed test on your iPhone, see what your download speed is.
All right, I think we
Okay,
got
that
to end
makes
the
me
pod.
way less worried.
That's
Dude, just to wrap that segment, I can't wait until SoFi gets a UI update just so we can stop fucking talking about it.
Shut up.
Like, no,
best
no,
part.
I don't mean it like that. I mean it like we've been talking about the bull cases and like we beat it to death. Like we were talking about individually. I mean, on our channels, talking about the bank charter for a long time, even though we knew it was coming. We were talking about the analysts for a long time, the SBC for a long time, and now it's the UI, and we have confirmation from Noto that they're gonna, they're in the process of fixing it. And there's gonna come a day when we're gonna wake up and SoFi has an app update in the App Store, and it's gonna be fixed. And then what are we gonna talk about? You know what I'm saying? Like it's another.
That'll be a
thing.
full Riley episode. We'll give him the whole episode.
It's gonna be a gradual rollout. So like it's not all gonna happen at once. And also like there's been a lot of times where SoFi has given like, hey, we're working on this tweets to people that like raise concerns about their app or anything. And just because they're saying that doesn't mean it's gonna come anytime soon. Like what is it? Options came like 2 years after they said they were working on it the first time.
Yeah, but level 1 options, from what I heard from, I got a little insider guy in the investment platform. He says that's Q3. So
Sure. So that's somebody on the inside, but SoFi has a horrible record of like saying something's coming, and then it's either like 5 months or 2 years. So that's the worry part.
whenever it happens, man, the amount of slides that we'll allow, it'll be crazy. Like you'll get over 10.
Okay.
You'll get over 10 slides.
All right, guys.
Do we want to wrap it?
Yeah, for those asking for Palantir, a lot of people couldn't make it this week, so we're doing Palantir Weekly next week. So we'll be back next week with the whole squad, and we'll talk Palantir. All right, this is awesome. This is a great pod. Thank you, 427 people, for being here the whole night with us. SoFi, Cathie Wood is back. Yeah, 427. So we'll see what happens over the next couple weeks as Cathie potentially loads up more.
Thanks, y'all.
Thank you, guys. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
That was a fun one.